Oh, hello there. Welcome to our debate today. Today we will be talking about, is fake news a real problem? Adversarial journalism and how media has changed politics, and are the media leaks important? Is fake news a problem?
I'd say fake news is not a real problem. Instead, we have different angles from different news media outlets. For example, when Donald Trump was accused of mocking a news reporter, the Washington Post and CNN attacked him. But Breitbart actually provided an alternate viewpoint, saying a different thing of what the actions actually suggested. So, different viewpoints, not fake news.
I'd also argue that fake news is not a real problem. See, about 90% of US Americans are high school educated and have been exposed to political bias. So they understand the different viewpoints that could be approached to each event.
I also agree. Fake news is not a legitimate problem. At the very least, false accusations lead the public to research their information more thoroughly.
And fake news is definitely a problem, like current day society where we're exposed to so much news at once, like anyone can post anything they want to. And BuzzFeed News actually did a report saying that more people remember the fake news headlines than they can actually tell through the real news articles.
Those are some very good points. So our next topic of discussion is adversarial journalism important for democracy? Does this help our democracy or does it hinder it from growth?
Suspicion of officials is not important for democracy to prosper. It's helpful because it can shed light on something that can be overlooked, but then again, people oftentimes hear about the allegations that may not even be true. And 85% of the time, adversarial journalism is a waste of effort. Think about Hillary Clinton and the accusations that were raised against her. FBI investigations, but nothing actually happened. She's still a politician.
Yeah, with Hillary's fake or deleted emails, WikiLeaks actually released a lot of them, and it turns out that most of the emails that were deleted or released or under investigation were mundane campaign emails. One of the biggest topics that was discussed in those emails was what joke she was going to use in a Sunday debate. I mean, think about all that wasted resources.
Well, I mean, that's not always true because adversarial journalism actually serves as a fourth check on the government, where it prevents them from doing things without getting public consent and informing the public. An example of this was during the Vietnam War, when adversarial journalism played a role in telling the government how the public felt about the war and how negatively it was.
Yeah, I agree with Donish because adversarial journalism is the fourth check in the government because of cases such as the Monica Lewinsky trial, where we found that Bill Clinton was doing impeachable offenses while in the Oval Office, and also the Washington Post reported on Richard Nixon breaking into his competitors' campaign offices and planting bugs, which is illegal. So I say it's a very important part of the government.
So would you all say that adversarial journalism is not important for democracy because, as they said, it's a fourth check on the branch on government?
Well, clearly it can be efficient and it can work, but these days, some of the allegations are just so right out crazy. Like, for example, Hillary Clinton running a sex scandal out of a pizza parlor. That just distracts from democracy and what we need to talk about, and it's aired on news constantly.
So our next topic is, how has the media changed politics? With all the new platforms that you can access news stories and politics, such as Twitter and BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, all these different platforms that millennials and younger people can access, how has this changed the political?
I feel that social media is actually really a real positive thing that has happened now because it connects young people to the government, which was not evident before, because they're able to tweet out their grievances on Twitter and what they're against, and that's how politicians know what they need to change in the government.
Yeah, and I completely agree with what Shazade said. It's because it allows information to spread at a very rapid pace, and politicians are able to use social media to describe what their platform is and also get feedback from their constituents. Now, all in all, it allows the average American to be part of the political system. it lets them see what their politicians are doing, what they believe in, and how they should vote.
Would you argue that having instant access to new ideas and events in the political scheme on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook allows younger people to become more involved in government?
I think that's complete malarkey. For several different reasons. Shazade made a great point. Politicians can connect to social media directly with voters, citizens, but they know who their audience is. It's young voters. And what they do on social media, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, is they can easily manipulate their voters.
I'd have to agree with Hassan on that one. A big problem is politicians craft their social media accounts, their tweets, their Instagram, whatever they run. And at this point, it's not as much I'm going to promote my political beliefs and try to tell you what's right and why I'm running, but more so I'm going to try to conform to my general public so I can get the most votes in the system when everyone's involved.
Right, I mean, politicians definitely do post their platforms. Y'all agree on that, right? So I think that just enhances democracy and completely like changes how we participate in the political spectrum. Like we see politicians posting what they want to do, and you can respond to that. So,
Very good points. Another topic of discussion is, are the media leaks of stories a good thing? Does this help the people understand, or does it hurt them? Let's hear from this side.
I'd have to argue that media leaks aren't really a good thing. Imagine the government, the news, and us as a business almost. You have the government, the source. You have media, the middleman, I guess, and then you have us, the consumer. I think that the media leaks kind of skip the fact checking that should be involved when reporting on political scandal and political events. I think that's the issue with media leaks.
For every breaking leak you have, like the Watergate scandal, that actually helps the people, you have 1,000 ones that are just meant to distract, influence people, and they're biased by their sources. So Breitbart could release a so-called leak that just fuels maybe 1% of the population on a theory that's not true.
Now, I completely understand that it has done damage in the past before, but I think the positives that come out between the transparency between the constituents and the politicians is like definitely important in democracy, and it allows people to really see who they voted for and what's going on in the government. Although there might be some times where the transparency isn't always a good thing, but there's a lot of pros that come with it, seeing as how people are able to understand exactly what's going on in the government. And you can see that with what's going on during Trump's presidency, where White House staff, disgruntled White House staff are leaking information that's going on during the meetings. But it allows like voters to see who they voted for and what's happening at the White House and what's progress is being.
That was a great discussion, gentlemen. I think we shall end the debate here.